Hello and welcome to episode 41 of TB3 Sports Talk. I'm Colby, I'm here with Joel, and we're ready to bring you guys some Rays baseball coverage this lovely week.
And that's what today's for. Like, I don't know if we're touching Bucks, we're not touching Lightning, no college. This is just good old-fashioned baseball. America's pastime at its finest. It deserves all of our attention today.
You know, the days are getting hotter, and it just means the baseball is getting hotter too, and that's what we got to talk about right now. Like Joel said, we don't got any Bucks or Lightning news. Sometimes they make a special guest appearance on the Rays episodes that we have nowadays. But
I did see a headline that John Cooper's doing something. Like, I think he's coaching some event, but that doesn't matter. We're talking about baseball.
We're talking.
They're just looking for news at that point.
They're just looking for news. We're talking baseball, and I mean, all in all, there's a lot that went on this week. Definitely some crazy games, some crazy moments, ups, downs. We went to a game. It stunk.
Yeah, it did.
It really did stink. That was the first game of the week. But, I mean, we can just dive right into it because there's a lot to talk about. Some heroes, some villains, and everything in between. So the Rays started off this week. They came off a 6-game losing streak, but they did win the last game against Kansas City at home, and they had 3 more home games against the Oakland Athletics, who have been better than expected. Kind of a nice story. The owner, we pity them because their owner is bad like our owner, and we might see some troubling trends from them that we might see in the future for us, unfortunately.
This was the last time the Oakland Athletics will ever play in the Trop.
Wow.
I just jinxed it. They're going to the postseason now. But other than that, regular season.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Oakland versus Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's like that wild card. Yandy Diaz. Man,
that was a great game.
That was a great game.
Yandy Diaz. That was the day we knew that Yandy Diaz was good.
That is so true. Man, what a game. But the Rays came into this game coming off a win, looking to kind of salvage their homestand just a bit. And they would try to do this on Monday night against Mitch Spence with Zach Littell on the mound. And this one turned out to be a pitcher's duel. I mean, the Rays were getting no hit up until I think it was the 6th or 7th inning. Zach Littell didn't give up any earned runs. However, a costly error by Brandon Lau in the 6th inning gave the Oakland Athletics new life, and they capitalized on it by getting a 3-run home run from Miguel Andujar, a guy who killed the Rays this series, and that put them up 3-0, and that was the final score. The Rays were not able to muster a run this night. They got maybe a little bit of rally on Mason Miller in the 9th, which was a sign of things to come later on in the series, but no runs this game. They would drop the series opener 3-0 to the Athletics, but they'd be back at it the following night. This is a Wednesday night game, and we have Joey Estes for the Oakland Athletics facing off against Ryan Pepio. And Ryan Pepio was really good. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Just good stuff from him. However, he would leave the game losing as the Oakland Athletics would be up 2-1 in the 6th inning. Brandon Lau would get an RBI triple in the 4th, and that's how they got that one run. But after it was 2-1, the Rays actually would strike back and take the lead. They would tie it in the 6th with a Jonathan Aranda RBI single, and they would take the lead in the 7th with an Isaac Paredes RBI double. However, they did leave a lot of men in scoring position this game, so you got to live with the ups and the downs with the Rays. But the Athletics would tie it in the top of the 8th with a J.J. Bleday RBI single to make it 3-3, and then in the top of the 9th, Zach Geloff bidding for a go-ahead home run, hits it far, hits it deep, Jose Siri out of nowhere, jumping through the sky to rob a home run and keep the game tied. And then, wouldn't you know it, in the 9th inning, man on third, less than 2 outs, Jose Siri gets the job done. A great AB, a walk-off RBI single. The Rays won this game 4-3.
That is just the beauty of baseball right there. Like, it's one of the biggest cliches. It's like, defensive play, wonder what he's going to do with his at-bat. And look what he does. He does it. Walk-off hit.
It was funny. It was like, Jose Siri's up next inning. He's gonna walk the game off, isn't he? I was
prepping for the strikeout.
Oh man, I believed in it.
Wasn't it 1 out and sack fly would have done it?
Yes, they played 5 infielders.
Yeah, 5 infielders. Outfielders were shallow. So I was ready for the strikeout, but he
did great. It was a really good at bat. Almost for me, the at bat was more impressive than the catch because he took a couple sliders off the plate. It was a great at bat. That's what showed us that Jose Siri's back, and he kept it rolling. And the Rays look to keep it rolling, and they would early on in this game. It's Thursday afternoon game at 1 p.m. start time. We have Hogan Harris for the Athletics versus Sean Armstrong opening for Tyler Alexander for the Tampa Bay Rays. And then the first inning, Isaac Paredes would strike first, a 2-run home run, scooping a slider, or I think it was a curveball, out of the park to left field, of course. 2-0 Rays after the first. And then that man again in the bottom of the seventh, Jose Siri, would hit an absolute tank, 428 feet. And that would give the Rays a 3-0 lead. However, Tyler Alexander came in the third, and he was really sketchy to start off. He would give up 4 runs on all with 2 outs in the third inning. Unfortunately, this was punctuated by Shea Langelier's home run to put the A's up 4-3, and this score would hold. Good pitching towards the end of this game. It would hold till the bottom of the 9th inning, 1 out. And I think you guys probably know what happens next. Hey Siri, it's not your night, is what the Oakland Athletics announcer says. And 1 pitch later, off Mason Miller, probably the best closer in the game right now, a guy who hasn't blown a save all season long, ever in his career. This is his first year being a closer, but still. Jose Siri takes a 100-mile-per-hour fastball out of the yard to tie this game up 4-4 in the 9th inning. And then in the 10th, the Rays and the A's would trade runs. Randy Arozarena had a really good at-bat against Mason Miller, who stayed in. He hit a 101-mile-per-hour fastball deep enough to get the runner home from third. Really good job from him, 5-5. And then Richard Lovelady and I think it was Garrett Clevenger would pitch scoreless top innings. And then in the bottom of the 12th, Richie Palacios would come through with a man on third with 1 out, get that guy home, hit a line drive, win the game, RBI single and walk-off single for Richie Palacios. The Rays win the series. And then the Rays head to Baltimore for their first series against the Orioles, a team that kind of had our number last year a little bit. And these are obviously the reigning AL East champs. And on Friday night, Aaron Savali would face off against what's this guy's first name? Albert Suarez, a journeyman pitcher, but he looked pretty good. This was a pitcher's duel throughout. The Rays would get on the board with their Ben Rortvedt RBI single in the top of the second. They would leave a lot of runners in those first innings, but then Baltimore pitching would settle in, and unfortunately, Aaron Savali would get through the 5th, but he would not be able to get through the 6th, and Richard Lovelady and Phil Maton, those 3 pitchers, would combine for 3 earned runs in the 6th inning. Baltimore would take a 3-1 lead, and that would be your final score. Good pitching all around, and just a bad inning from the relievers that came in for Aaron Savali, and that was it. Kind of a heartbreaking game. I watched it. Was like, when you watch a game and that's like the only thing you're doing, and you're like, really, yeah. That was me Friday night, and it was a heartbreaker. But we move to Saturday.
You smell that game coming too.
I did a little bit.
Will not on the show right now, but he was like.
He did call it.
He was ready to lose 3-1.
He did call it.
I had to go back and check because I was like, did he know the score when he said that? Because I think I looked at the text a little late, once they'd done the score. So
it made me livid that he called it. I was like, come on. But the next day, we actually had something that we thought was going to be a pitcher's duel. It was Kyle Bradish versus Taj Bradley, but this game turned out to be anything but a pitcher's duel. The Orioles would get on the board with 3 runs in the first inning, a Ryan Mountcastle and Anthony Santander home run to make it 3-0 Baltimore, but then the Rays would strike back. In the top of the second, they would get 3 runs, a Jose Caballero single, and a Yandy Diaz 2 RBI triple to tie this game up 3-3. However, Jordan Westbrook would hit a home run to put the Orioles up 4-3 in the bottom of the second. But then in the top of the third, the Rays struck back again. Jose Siri would get an RBI single to make it 4-4, and then Yandy Diaz would get an RBI walk to make it 5-4. That's what the Rays would go into the bottom of the third inning with. But after that was all Orioles.
It was not to be so.
It was just not Taj Bradley's day. He ended up giving 9 earned runs up and only going 3 in the third innings pitched. And all those 9 earned runs were all the Orioles need. The Rays would not be able to score more than the 5 runs they got early, and the Orioles will win this one 9-5. Unfortunately, rough game for Taj. I heard some things about potentially some tipping of the pitches.
They said that early on in the game.
So hate to see that. I mean, that gives me nightmares to Glasnow in the Houston series.
I think that came up at some point earlier in the season too.
Really?
Some Rays pitchers just have a tendency to tip their pitches. It was
It's kind of a young pitcher thing.
I think it was Zach Littell. I think he was tipping pitches in one of the games.
Interesting. Yeah, young pitcher. Zach Littell's a new starter. That makes sense. But the Rays would look to not avoid the sweep on Sunday, and it didn't start off good. Zach Littell was facing off against Cole Irvin, and the Orioles would build a 3-0 lead after the fourth inning. But in the fifth, the Rays would strike back. Yandy Diaz would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 3-1. Then, top of the seventh, that's when they started to get going. Jose Caballero with a long home run over Baltimore to make it 3-2 Baltimore. And then the big blow, the top of the eighth inning, Jose Siri, that man again, a 2 RBI double to put the Rays on top, 4-3, and the bullpen would hold. Thank the Lord. Clevenger, Fairbanks action, a little bit of some jams they got into, but they got out of them, and the Rays would win this game. That making them go 3-3 on the week. And, I mean, I don't know. What are we thinking about this week for the Rays, Joel?
Overall, okay, pretty good. Like, you're not going to bury yourself with a week like this. Staying afloat. Orioles are a hard team. They're the best in the American League East, in my opinion. And to not get swept, like, hey, that's good. Oakland, you expect to be able to beat out a team like that. So taking 2 of 3, that's doing your job. So I'd say being the team that we are right now, knowing the team that we are, we did our job this week, so that's good. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you don't get swept by the teams that are supposed to beat you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to know, not only is Baltimore, I think a lot of people, as of right now, think they're a better team than the Rays, and obviously the record shows that. It's also in Baltimore, so it's a road series. It's a tough series. It's a really tough series. First time you've seen them all year. And it does kind of feel like I'm on your side, Joel. While the Rays only went 3-3, they didn't make up any ground in the standings, I don't think. They didn't make up any ground in their chase to get back a better record above 500. But it does feel like a really big 3-3. I mean, you look at those Oakland games, a couple of those things don't go your way. I mean, you could have easily looked at losing 2 out of 3 to Oakland and even getting swept. But you turn that around and you get a series win. You go to Baltimore, and it kind of is the other way around. You feel like, a couple of those things don't go wrong. Maybe Taj Bradley's not tipping pitches when your offense is kind of flourishing. Maybe Kevin Cash picks a different reliever to come in on Friday night instead of Lovelady, and you may be looking at least a series win in Baltimore. So I think the baseball that the Rays played for the most part is pretty good. I think they did a better job of playing cleaner baseball. I mean, like we said, we saw some flashy defensive plays from Siri. Siri was really good in center all week. This is what we're talking about. Him and DeLuca, I mean, when they're in the outfield together, that is a no-fly zone. Like they are a really impressive defensive outfield duo. So the defense was a little bit better.
There's some crisp double plays turned.
Yeah, some double plays turned. Still some outs in the base pass, but not as much. So I think overall the Rays played better baseball this week, and coming off what was last week, a 6-game losing streak, it was good to see them play at least solid baseball,
Yeah. Yeah, this is a team where when they lose, it feels like they're never going to win again. So it was nice to see the walk-offs, because there were points in all these games where it was like, all right, I'm retired, I'm done being a Rays fan. Like, if I could describe this weekend as the Rays, in one word for the Rays, I would probably say roller coaster. Like quite a roller coaster of a weekend. It started with a nice, slow turning out of the entrance with that first Oakland game where we didn't score a run, and thankfully we were in the building to see that.
Oh man, yeah. That was a dead game. That was
terrible.
That was just not what you wanted to see. And then obviously, you look back at that game and it's like, Zach Littell should have been 7 shutout innings. I mean, he didn't give up an earned run. He pitched phenomenally, and you just can't get anything going off of. I mean, no offense to Mitch Spence, but this is not a household name pitcher. So that was frustrating. I think we can start there though. I think Ray's offense, I think it's a good starting point, because there's definitely. It bothers me, right? The Rays offense bothers me because I feel like they just show flashes of what they can be all the time, and they have these innings, these 2 or 3 innings they put together that are just very good at bats. I think every game except for the one we're talking about, the first Oakland game, there's at points where we're like, man, this is the Rays offense we know we can have. 1 through 9 is working good counts. They're making contact. They're hitting the ball over the yard. Stuff like that, and then they just have these droughts of 4 or 5 innings where they don't do anything. It's very roller coaster. It's a roller coaster ride, and I think the offense is the biggest roller coaster ride.
I'm trying to think about why that would be. Is I guess in some ways it feels like as Yandy Diaz goes, so goes our offense. So maybe if he's having an off night, like the rest of the lineup's like, all right, the boss isn't working tonight, neither are we. I don't know.
I do think the energy that the Rays have is very contagious. I feel like they definitely seem like a team where, one thing goes wrong or one thing goes right, and it kind of sparks or derails the whole team. So I think that's an interesting thing. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think that might speak to kind of the lack of leadership maybe they have like for people that are on the roster, which I think is just unfortunate. I know I kind of was reminiscing over, a couple years ago, and I just feel like we had better leaders on the team. I just think Willie Adames, Kevin Kiermaier, Mike Zunino, these aren't guys that are wowing you with numbers. I mean, they've had some good seasons, some not so good seasons, but these guys, I think in the moment we were kind of devaluing how much they meant to the locker room and the clubhouse with their leadership. So I think it's just.
Not to go, but our offense was doing this kind of crap back then too.
But I don't know. I think if you look at the stats and it's not all about the offense. Obviously, you go through colds and hot streaks. That's baseball. That's baseball. But kind of just the way that something completely derails the team. Like you look at Friday night. I mean, you get to that inning. Aaron Savali comes out for the sixth inning. He gets an out. Then there's a base hit. Kevin Cash pulls him. That is a standard thing. It felt whatever. Maybe he was a little early. Maybe it wasn't. It's fine. Lovelady comes in, and he has lefty on lefty, and Baltimore gets the bloopiest hit I've ever seen in my life. Just so unlucky. Good pitch, just unlucky where it placed. Seeing I hit. And it just felt like after that moment, the Rays were done. There was just nothing that they could do. It was unraveling, and there was nothing they could do to bring it back. And it's just frustrating because even after they lost the deficit, I mean, some of those Baltimore relievers, this isn't the Baltimore bullpen of 2 years ago. I mean, these Baltimore relievers were giving opportunities. Yunior Cano didn't look good. Craig Kimbrell is a wild roller coaster ride himself. He closed out that game. So there was definitely opportunities, and they just were never able to regain their footing. So I do think, for me, just watching this team and how they operate, I do think there's a lack of leadership.
Yeah, I fully agree.
I'm just saying though, I just was
get Johnny Damon back on this team. Give him as the first base coach.
I would love to have a former Ray in the clubhouse.
Oh
Obviously,
goodness.
Kevin
Johnny, if you're listening, call up the Rays.
Kevin Cash is a former Ray, but
former Ray for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What did he hit? 182.
I don't know, man. I don't know what he did.
On the other hand, great season at like 40 years plus. No, he was 38. Sorry, Johnny Damon. Not trying to tell you we're that old.
He's aging you, Johnny.
I know. 38 years old. Great season for the Rays. Come on, come back, be one of our coaches, because that's the leadership I like on a team.
Yeah, but I mean, as for the Rays offense, like we said, these cold spells, but the Rays offense this week was all about Jose Siri. This guy had a phenomenal week. This is a guy that a lot of people wanted gone, but if you guys recall, especially I got to give credit to Will and Joel. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about that conundrum of people are getting healthy, who's going to go down, and Joel and Will stood by Jose Siri. They said, don't give up on him. He hit that grand slam against New York. They were feeling good about it. They said, don't give up on Jose Siri. He's a good player. We saw what he did last year. He's an energy player. He will turn around. And this is the week he did it. I mean, you look, he was 6 for 18, 333 on base percentage, 333 average, a 400 on base percentage, and he had a 1.178 OPS, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. So just fantastic week for Jose Siri. I mean, what are you seeing from him, man?
I mean, that is a week. Like, put that together and string that along for a month, and we'll be talking about that for years. Man, Jose Siri had an awesome June. I would love to be able to have that memory going through my mind as a Rays fan.
It's do you remember June 2024 Jose Siri and what he did?
Yeah,
that would be fun.
There are Rays players that I have those
Travis
kind of
d'Arnaud in July of 2019.
I mean, I was going back to 2011.
Hey, I'm just thinking of mine.
I'm talking Desmond Jennings, April and May of 2011. Dude, that was quite the year. So if Jose Siri, another center fielder, gotta love the parallels.
Mm-hmm.
If he could do that, I wouldn't be thinking about Desmond Jennings and his hot beginning of 2011 as much as I am.
Yeah, and for Jose Siri, what it comes down to for success is he taking balls? I think there's so many, like Jose Siri. I mean, on the year, I'll just pull this up. He strikes out too much. I mean, on the year, Jose Siri has 59 strikeouts. 59 strikeouts on the year.
How many at bats?
In
it doesn't matter if you get
143 at bats, 59 strikeouts.
So
that is a crazy percentage. So when Jose Siri gets a hold of a baseball, I mean, it does special things. He has shown the ability to hit the ball to the opposite field. That's what I'm trying to say. To the opposite field, but it's all about taking his pitches, and we saw it, like we mentioned, and even that at bat he walked the game off on. He was taking the slider away. I mean, the Oakland pitcher, it was not Mason Miller, I don't remember who it was just trying to pump the slider and get him to chase on the slider down and away, and he wasn't going for it. And it was just so refreshing to see Jose Siri not chase pitches, and that has been the key. It's as simple as that. I mean, Jose Siri can hit the balls in the zone. He has really good intangibles. He's a 5-tool player. We always know the potential he has. It's just about the mental game, and the ability and willingness to take pitches is what's holding him back and what could be propelling him for this next month, hopefully.
Yeah, and on the other side of that coin, you look at a player like Randy Arozarena. When he's not chasing pitchers, he's Randy Arozarena. But right now, Randy Arozarena is hitting under 200, and it's because he's chasing those pitches. So, hey, let's try to get them in a room. Jose Siri can be like, hey, lay off this pitch. This is what this pitch is doing. And maybe we can get Randy Arozarena back too. Then we'd be talking about the World Series.
Yeah, and even Randy, though, it's different because Randy's missing the pitches in the zone right now too. Like he's struggling to hit the fastball, and he's never struggled to hit the fastball ever in his career. So I'm definitely concerned about Randy, unfortunately, right now.
You wonder if because he's missing so bad out of the zone, now he's missing in the zone too.
Yeah, he's just completely off balance. I mean, just when he's looking for a pitch to hit, it's a ball and he's swinging at it. When he's looking to take a pitch, it's a strike down the middle, and we're like, what are you doing? It's just baseball. Baseball just piles up on you. It's really unfortunate to see the slump he's in. We've been harping for it
since the season started.
Since the season started, unfortunately, right now. But he just has to be able to.
If Siri found it, so can
That's
Randy.
true. He has to be. All he has to do is shorten up that swing, and just once he gets a good week, because even when he was hitting the home runs and he had that week in the ovation, his average wasn't back up to what it was. He needs to get back to hitting the singles, hitting the ball in the gap, and then the home runs can come, and then he can start to finally say that he's back.
Yeah.
As for other standout performers, another guy that wasn't exactly on my radar was Amed Rosario. This guy he was 6 for 14 this week, a 4.29 average, and he had a 1.072 OPS, 3 doubles on the week for Amed Rosario. He was kind of in a little bit of a sneaky dry spout, so it was good to see him. There's a couple of lefties that hit that pitch this week, so it's good to get Amed Rosario in. They've let him play shortstop a couple times, which has been nice because I think obviously he has a better bat than Caballero, even if the defense drops down a little bit. But he's done a pretty good job of playing every defensive position that they ask of him. Had a couple big hits. The game that was a walk-off that we had the man on third, it was because Amed Rosario got a leadoff double in that inning. So good to see him get hot. As for slumping, Johnny DeLuca didn't have a hit last week. 0 for 16, unfortunately. He's starting to hit his rookie skid. A couple walks, but yeah, he's struggling right now. But I think he's still putting together good at bats, hitting the ball hard. Just kind of, it's baseball. It'll catch up on you. So that's your big slumper as of right now. Yeah, the numbers look better right now for the week.
How's that Ben Roitvet doing? I'm trying to go to his stuff.
Ben Roitvet's been struggling.
Yeah, he's been trash as well.
He's
the guy. Sorry, Ben, but
2 for 12 last week.
Okay, not as bad as I thought.
It was the week he's gotten he got an RBI, so he's a little bit better this week. Brandon Lau had a few extra base hits this week, so he's hitting the ball in the gap, waiting for him to hit that home run.
Building up his trade value.
Maybe. We shall see. But, yeah, we got anything else in the lineup?
No, not off the top of my head.
So, as we go, I think we can roll over to starting pitching. Joel, is there any start or starter that stuck out to you this week in specific particular?
I'd say the Eflin game was pretty good.
You mean Savali?
I always get Zach, Littell, and
Zach. Okay, fair.
So
Names.
my two Zachs.
Hey, I think the TB3 listeners understand the names. They know names aren't your thing. You just want to talk ball.
Yeah.
So Zach Littell, he had 2 starts this week. So the one, like we mentioned on Monday, was 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. Oh, they changed that.
Did they give him
They changed that from a what? They took away the brain allow error. That can't be right.
They do that sometimes, like 24 hours.
No, but that was an error. Yeah. We were at the game. That was a routine play. He booted.
It was.
Yeah, no, I'm saying 0 earned runs, but gave us the length. Just didn't have the run support. 9 strikeouts in this game. 6 hits and 1 walk. 9 strikeouts. So really good stuff from him. And then today was more of a battle for him. We're recording on Sunday, so the day of the Rays win. But Zach Littell went 6 inning pitch. He gave up 11 hits, but only 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So they were hitting the ball on him. But
there were so many base runners on both sides in this game. They put the stat up at one point. It was like, wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, good for him to pitch out of jams. That's an important thing for a good pitcher. And that's kind of just what Zach Littell does. He's able to get quality innings even when it's not looking good for him. So that's a really good start when he obviously didn't have his good stuff, and it kept the Rays in the game and kept them giving a chance to win. As we move, I was pretty impressed with Ryan Pepio this week. He started against the Athletics.
It was nice to have him back.
It was really nice to have him back. He started against the Athletics on Wednesday. He went 5 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, one walk, and 7 strikeouts. That was an impressive game. The run support didn't come until late in this game, but he was slicing and dicing through them. There's just really good stuff from Pepio. The changeup was working, the slider was working. He was throwing the slider like 90 miles per hour. It was hard, and obviously that fastball of his with the spin rate of it is just insane. So good to see from him. Unfortunately, the other young pitcher on our team, we can't have both of them pitching good on the same week.
No,
Taj Bradley.
That wouldn't be fair.
That wouldn't be fair.
Rigged.
Yeah, I guess honestly, I don't think I'm not too concerned. Baltimore's a really good lineup, and you have an off day, and you're potentially tipping pitches against them, and you're just going to get punished.
Maybe Baltimore's cheating.
That would be awesome. I'd love to hear that Baltimore's cheating.
It'd be kind of sad, but also make me feel better about this.
I've grown to really dislike Baltimore, especially like their fans.
Their fans are annoying.
Their fans are really annoying. It's like, come on, guys.
They're starting to look pretty entitled. It's like, no.
They're starting to get a little arrogant for the fact that they were in the gutter like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The Rays were 18-1 against the Orioles in 2021. Never forget that.
That's crazy.
That is just insane.
I forget that they were bad back then because I like in my mind I connect like the 2014 era and this era together. And I'm like, oh, they've been good a while. But then it's like, oh, I forgot about those dark 20.
They weren't. I mean, they were bad, obviously, but to go 18-1 against a single team, even a bad team, like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That was honestly the biggest reason we won that division that year. Like we were good against all AL East teams. 2021 was a fun team. That was a team that got away. Just sad.
It's all right. Maybe 2024 is our year.
Maybe we'll see. Someone needs to get hot and get cooking. I mean, what? Who started we met? Oh, Aaron Savali. I was gonna look at Aaron Savali because he's starting to get it back. I think I want to get the game log up, but Aaron Savali has now gone. Why would Aaron Savali has now gone 5 innings in 4 straight outings. He was 5 innings, 3 earned runs against the Red Sox on the road. 5 in the third innings, 4 earned runs against the Royals. No, Blue Jays. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 against the
Blue Jays. 2 against the Royals in 5 innings, and then 1 against the Orioles in 5 in the third innings.
And we lost all those games for him too.
Yeah, not getting the run support, but
man, what's the losing streak that he's got going right now? five-game losing streak.
Yeah, the one game he gives up 7, he wins against the Mets.
Baseball. How
Baseball,
ironic.
baby. Yeah, but just he's starting to come around. I think he's mixing and matching his pitches. His fastball looked really lively on Friday, so that was an encouraging sign. But I mean, Joel, what's your confidence level right now out of 10 when you hear Aaron Savali's pitching?
6.4.
Okay, all right.
So it's going up. Like a couple weeks ago, I probably just said like 3.9. He's dropped his ERA about 40 points over this losing streak. So
yeah, he's doing good.
He's dropped it a run since the Mets start. So it's pointing up.
Yeah, for sure. And as we look at this, Aaron Savali is, when Zach Eflin is slated to come back next week, is the goal. I think he threw about 40 innings or 40 pitches in a bullpen this weekend in Tropicana Field. So I think he's slated to come back.
That doesn't really bode much confidence for me.
Okay. As is Josh Lowe is slated to come back on Tuesday, hopefully, unless I missed a setback that happened. But more for the Savali thing. Zach Eflin's going to come back. I think we still feel good about Pepio and Taj. Zach Littell is as consistent as any Rays pitcher. So at that point, Aaron Savali is probably your 5 starter. I mean, just depending on the days. So if you're getting 5 innings, 2 earned runs from your 5 starter, you'll take that all day long. So it's good to see. It's very encouraging for this team to see Savali continuing to kind of just play solid and, work through these issues, it was a 3 or 4 span of starts where it was really, really bad. So Savali, he's rounding in the form a little bit.
Yeah, he's being the pitcher he's supposed to be. So when Eflin comes back, are you saying we'll have 6 potential starters?
No, not yet. That's when Boz comes back, we'll have 6.
Because I was going to say, if this was a horror story, who's going out? Who's getting hurt?
Ugh.
Who's going to die?
Who's gonna die?
So if that only gives us 5, then we're good.
Right now we're at 5, but I think Boz is supposed to come back mid-June, so we will have this six pitcher dilemma very soon.
He's a myth. He's like a legend.
He does kind of feel like a myth.
It's like the unicorns might come. It's like he's probably got under like 50 innings pitched, and even that feels like a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's 50 innings, maybe 30, but I mean.
Let's ask.
He's got the stuff, man. Like if he comes back and he shows that stuff he showed when he first came up, the sky's the limit for him. So I still have some faith in him because he's got electric stuff.
40.1.
40.1, right in the middle of what we both said.
Oh yeah.
Man, Aaron Savali started off the season so good. 6 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings.
He did. Our thumbnail was Savali's hot to start the season.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Dude, he was pitching so good to start the season. Yeah, that was crazy.
It was kind of just like I feel like Eflin wasn't as good, but Savali was good.
Yeah.
So it kind of.
I'm thinking Eflin's going to come off the IL fresh and ready to get back to what he was last year.
Being good every other
guys, it's like 3 good ones, 1 bad one, and this year it's been in every other start. I can't deny that.
Okay, you're right. That is
this year it's for sure that. Yeah, but starting pitching pretty solid honestly throughout the week. I do think we have seen Tyler Alexander's last start for at least a little bit. I tip my cap to you. You did a solid job, but I won't miss the meatballs you throw.
He's the guy where I was trying to figure out, who's leaving?
Yeah, he's leaving. But
it's going to be an injury.
I think he's going to the pen. He might. Hopefully, honestly, I'd rather have Tyler Alexander than Lovelady as a lefty guy.
Yeah, Lovelady makes me sad. I don't love Lovelady.
I thought Lovelady was going to be a Pegasus for this bullpen.
Every time he's come in, I feel like something's bad.
No, it has. It's been a really, really bad start. It's like, honestly, the Rays seem like they're losing their magic with pitchers just a little bit. They're not fixing people at the same rate that they used to.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We're not fixing them to the point where it's like that might be the best reliever I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I think this is just going off my head. I think Nick Anderson's the last case where I was like, we fixed that guy.
Robert Stevenson last year, we fixed him. Yeah. Oh my god, he was so good last year.
And where did he go?
He went to the Angels.
Oh,
He's out for the year, but he got a pretty good bag.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3 years, $40 million for a reliever or something like that.
Yeah,
Something like he.
being like, okay,
yeah.
That fair.
I didn't feel bad about it, and he's out for the year, unfortunately. So, not really missing much. Yeah, I mean, as for the bullpen, pretty solid. I mean, looking at these numbers, we got. It's not out yet, but I think we're gonna have a Ray of the Month post on Instagram, and we picked Garrett Clevenger for Ray of the Month because he's been balling out. But this week, Garrett Clevenger 3 innings, 0 earned runs. Jason Adams a 0 ERA. Chris Davinsky 3 2/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs.
Have we solved the Davinsky code?
No, I don't know. Oh, Sean Armstrong. That's a good thing to talk about. Sean Armstrong has been pitching really well. He came out, and the day he opened, the last 2 times he's opened, he's looked phenomenal, and Tyler Alexander has kind of ruined it. But 3 innings pitched this week, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 0 walks. Good for him. Like we said, Lovelady has struggled. Phil Maton gave up his first run in a while, and which it was an inherited run.
Yeah,
We had a Mormon pitching for us on
weird.
the other night. He came up, Justin Sterner. Maybe he'll be something. I don't know.
How does that come up? Like, did they say that?
Oh, they couldn't stop talking about it on the TV and on the radio.
Huh.
They were like, he went on his 2-year mission to Hawaii.
It's like we're trying to leave religion out of this stuff. No, we're not.
Well, I think to be fair to them, he went on his 2-year mission, didn't play baseball at all for that, and now he's in the major leagues.
Okay, that's kind of.
That's pretty impressive. Like, I can't. That's pretty impressive. Pete Fairbanks. I was really happy to see Pete Fairbanks close out the game today.
Yeah, so he had that rough one with the extra innings game where he gave up the double, but then today it was good.
Yes, that is true. But he did that game. He had bases loaded, nobody out after the run had already scored, and he got out of it.
Yeah.
So he kind of was. Actually, the A's kind of got to Pete because Pete was a pitcher that was in when Jose Siri made that catch.
Yeah, he gave up 3 hits against the Athletics and 1 run.
Yeah.
And 1 walk.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, they had his number
They
there.
did have his number a little bit, but it was good to see a nice, clean, easy save for him. But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. What... Do we got anything else special to talk about? This is kind of just like a recap episode.
Kind of hey, we went 4-3-3, 3-3. That's not too good, not too bad. We're 29-31 now. I mean, we're close. We're almost touching 500.
It sucks because we were 25-22. Like, it felt like we were never going back under 500 again after that AL East road trip.
I mean,
and
this is kind of just this week is like what I feel like this season's gonna be.
For sure.
Like sometimes we're talking about a little bit of good stuff, and sometimes it's bad. And then maybe once or twice this season, we're gonna have an episode where it's like, could we conquer the world?
I'm hoping maybe like 3 or 4 times we have an episode like that. Still
nice.
left in us.
Hopefully, one like a week or 2 before the season ends, where it's like, all right, that postseason spot's ours.
All right, we'll see. Yeah. So I guess looking ahead. Maybe we can. Let's do this. We do a little standings check. The Rays are 4th place right now. They are 1 game back behind Boston for 3rd place. They are 12.5 back behind New York for 1st place, who is 3 up on Baltimore. That's pretty. Yankees been playing some good baseball apparently. The Rays are actually tied with the Blue Jays, so the AL East is still tight. The Rays are kind of in the thick of things. As of right now, the Rays would not get a wild card spot. They are 4.5 back the wild card. That's a little bit more than
that's not bad.
That's not bad, but that's a little bit more than it was the last time I checked. But they're still in the thick of things. There's nothing has been lost in this April and May slate.
The postseason's been washed a little bit, like washed out. Less cool, but it's a good time to be a Rays fan because of it. I don't know. It kind of makes me sad when teams this bad go to the playoffs, though. Like, just kind of going on a random rant, like, it makes it less pure.
I don't even It's 6 teams each league. That is still by far the least at any major pro.
But not by much nowadays, because isn't like hockey and basketball 8? Or
Yeah.
basketball went up to a lot, right?
Yeah, basketball's 10 technically with the play-in.
Yeah, hockey's 8.
And I guess football is 7. So yeah, it's still the least
And
at all.
football's got more teams, so technically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Regardless, the underdog stories don't happen enough for me to appreciate it.
I don't know. I mean, the last 2 times the 6
It's
seed,
just kind of a nice way to get the good teams ready to go for the next series.
but the 6 seed in the NL has made the World Series the last 2 years. The last team in, they haven't won, but they've made it. And the last year, the 5th seed in the AL won the World Series. So I would disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
I honestly think the format is bad where it kind of is not good for the top teams. Because the top teams are always rusty because the teams that played their wild card series.
I have heard that they want to fix that.
So
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. Yeah, and then to go off what you're saying, like those teams should be mad. Like the fans should be mad. It's like you just lost to the 29-31 Rays in the first series of the. Yeah, like it's not a good look.
You just lost to the power of friendship and Tampa Bay Rays.
That's beautiful.
I look forward to that. In September. We're gonna
how about Toronto though? Like they're worse than us. So do they blow it up this trade deadline?
I think they do. I don't know. They might be too stubborn to, but I think they should. I just don't think that core. Like they have a core. They're not like the Rays. They're not like winning off, a certain brand of baseball. They have a core of people that they're trying to win with, and that core of people has never had success.
Yeah, and I just off the top of my head, Bo Bichette has been so bad this year.
Yeah,
Like I thought he
he's
was
struggling.
I thought he was turning around, and then he had a terrible 4-day stretch.
Vladdy's struggling. George Springer's struggling.
So yeah, they could blow.
I
it up.
definitely think a couple of those pieces could go. They might be too stubborn though.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch. We are getting kind of close. Like trade deadline's only
2 months away.
2 months away. Yeah.
Yeah. We might start seeing some trades and some
stove's
rumors.
starting to get a little warm.
Maybe. We'll see. But looking for a good month of baseball from the Rays. Starts this week in June. The Rays are going to head to their crosstown rival, kind of. They're heading to Miami. They're playing the Marlins for 2 games. Tuesday, 6:40 start. So you got an off day tomorrow. Ooh, good pitching matchup. Ryan Pepio versus Jesus Luzardo. 2 good young pitchers. Luzardo might be a guy who's going to go at the deadline. So that's your Tuesday game. And then Wednesday, you're going to have undecided for the Rays. I'm hoping and thinking that's going to be Zach Eflin versus Braxton Garrett, who had a good season last year but has struggled to start this one. The Marlins are actually playing good baseball. I think I saw a stat where the Marlins are, I don't know, they have a good record in their last 20 games or something.
They are 21-39. They're 5-5 in their last 10.
But they started off 0 and I think they were 0.
They were so bad.
Yeah, I think they were 0 and 12 or not 20, but yeah, something like that. Then the Rays also have 3 games with the Orioles, this time in the Tropicana Field this week. Friday night, we're going to have Aaron Savali versus Cole Irvin, 2 people that the Rays faced, but that was not the same pitching matchup. A lot of series we've had this year where we've had 2 series the same pitchers pitching against the same team twice. That's happened 3 or 4 times this year. I don't remember that ever happening.
Just to find what you're talking about, the Marlins had a 4-game winning streak in mid-May.
There you go.
And they won 2 games in a row 2 times after that.
So I think they're having a pretty good May, or did have a good May.
Yeah.
On Saturday, Grayson Rodriguez and Taj Bradley will pitch against each other on a 4-10 game. And then Sunday, the Rays will send out Zach Littell versus Corbin Burns at 1:40. The Rays will also have a Monday night game against the Orioles, but we'll probably record before then. So, what I was going to say is, I can pull this out, but the Rays, they have a crazy run differential. Hold up. I'm going to find this because... Oh, come on.
Who's going to get there first?
I had a...
Negative 53.
They have a negative 53. So, yeah, they're negative 53, and they're still only 29-31. So that's something to discuss. The Rays, I think, are 12-4 in one-run games as of right now. So the clutch factor is kind of the only thing keeping them going right now, unfortunately for the Rays. So
that's just a sad reminder of the blowouts.
Yeah, I guess obviously run differential is not something to live by, but
the Orioles every year were like, we went to the playoffs with a -12 run differential.
Dude, they're not doing that this year.
They are at 74 positive.
Wow. So yeah, they're not doing.
Yankees are 107.
Man, like isn't the Red Sox have a positive one?
22.
Yeah. So one game separates us and the Red Sox. We have -53. They have +22. That's just crazy baseball.
Yep.
But should us as Rays fans be looking at it positively for, hey man, the Rays have had such a bad start, they've had such a bad run differential, but they're still in it? Or should we be looking at it like, wow, our record is much better than it should be, this team is due to fall off?
I feel like this just isn't my Rays team right now, so I'd say unless something changes, we'll kind of fall off. We'll be like a 78-win team, which I mean we're on pace for that right now. So, but we won't have any streaks going. We'll just kind of be a win a game, lose 3, win 2 games, lose 2.
I kind of agree with you. I know I'm supposed to be the optimist here, but this is just frustrating. It's just frustrating to see this Rays team, and I just think they get in their own way so much, and they have too many ups and downs throughout the lineup and throughout just like how well they hit for it to be not anything other than what this team is. I think if the stars start hitting, Josh Lowe comes back, Brandon Lau kind of is already starting to get a little hot. If he stays hot, then this team could look completely different. But I mean, there's just too many ups and downs when it comes to this Rays roster and just what they've been doing. The starting pitching is just not as good as it was last year as of right now. I know there's some people coming back, but I do think it unfortunately
at the 2-month mark.
Yeah, unfortunately, as in the realist in me kind of says, like, I think this might catch up to us, and I hope the Rays can hit their stride and kind of get over 500 and get more into the wild card race and cement themselves there. But I mean, you look at the wins that they have. I mean, these series wins they're getting, Mets, White Sox, they got a series win, Blue Jays, Red Sox. Those are teams that you can take positives from a series win, but those aren't good teams.
I think our realist is just showing that.
Yeah, unfortunate. So it's just I really want to see the Rays start to beat some good teams, and like this series upcoming at home against Baltimore is huge. If you can get 3 out of 4 against Baltimore at the Trop, that could be a season-altering series. Absolutely.
And just hating on the Marlins as much as I do, like
you got to get 2.
Really should sweep.
You got to get 2. You got to get 2. You do, and the Marlins have been playing better baseball, but you are the better team than the Marlins. You got to get 2 games in Miami. The Rays have been pretty good at beating the Marlins.
I believe in the Rays the most is when they beat the Marlins. It's like if we have a season where we beat the Marlins like 3 out of 4 games, I'm like, okay.
I kind of agree with that.
This Rays team's real.
I can agree with that, man.
It's a good gauge.
A good gauge indeed. Yeah. So I guess we got 5 games.
Wait, one thing.
Yes.
All right, we're getting near trade season. So, are the Rays going to trade anybody?
Oh, for sure. They are. They're going to do some type of retooling. I don't know if they're going to fully go for it or they're going to fully strip it down.
It'll be a retool.
It'll be a retool.
I don't think we ever have I think we have enough of the dignity where we would never tear, but we'd retool.
Well, I mean, there's no reason for us to tear. We're not spending money anyways.
Yeah.
There's never any reason for the Rays to tear down.
Well, yeah, the philosophy of the Rays is just so weird. Like I would never be able to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. I think
because it's like if we get too many prospects, we might have to pay those prospects one day, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of prospects, Junior Caminero had a setback, has a quad strain, out 4 to 6 weeks. So maybe will delay his MLB debut. I don't think he was coming up in June anyways, just because of service time manipulation. But yeah, so if you're clamoring, that's the word I was looking for, clamoring for Junior to come up, you're going to have to wait till July, unfortunately. Maybe August. But he could be a good boost.
That far, you might be going to a September call-up.
Maybe. I don't know. It really just depends on where the Rays are and what they need. It would be nice to see him up before the All-Star break. But I don't know. I don't know. What were trade. I think Brandon Lau or Harold Ramirez, one of them's going to go.
Yeah.
One of them's going to go.
Harold Ramirez is the first name that comes to mind.
Yeah, Harold Ramirez is probably going to go.
Lau, I don't know how many years is left for Lau, but his contract might be hard for somebody to take on.
He has one more year under a Rays contract.
Yeah,
it's a player option, I think. So he's probably going to take it because he's making like $10 million. So one more year. So it wouldn't be a rental, but that might scare people off.
Yeah.
It sucks because the Randy conversation is interesting because
there's no value in
yeah,
it right now.
really isn't. That's the struggle. So, I think Harold or Brandon Lau will go. Maybe you see someone like
Lau's got 2 more years.
Okay.
10.5 and 11.5.
Okay, 2 more years.
$500,000 buyout on the 2026. So we'd buy our way out of that for sure if we kept them.
I think maybe someone like Savali or Eflin could go, depending on because they're getting pretty good money and they still have control left. So that could be an option depending on how many pitchers come back. Because we're gonna have a very crowded rotation at the end of this year, and then of course 2025 is gonna be a bunch of people in the mix.
We have more tradable pieces than I would have thought going into this conversation.
Yeah, it would be nice. I would love to see the Rays turn Eflin. I really like Eflin, but his value is higher than I think it might ever will be. If they could turn him into something that could help their team now, that would be a very worthwhile trade in my opinion.
Yeah, if he gets on a little streak going into the deadline, I'd trade him.
Yeah.
Interesting,
but that's just some pre-trade talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 games, 2 in Miami, 3 at home against Baltimore.
I'm going to go optimistic. I've been spending this whole episode being negative. I'll go optimistic. I'll say 4-1.
Interesting. I'll say 3-2. I was going to say 4-1 if you said 3-2, but I'm going to say 3-2. I think they split with Miami because they're going to be goofy, but I think they will take 2 out of 3 and then end up winning that Monday night game and take 3 out of 4 against Baltimore. I think it's going to be a big series for them. But who do we know? And I think Jose Siri is going to hit more home runs.
Man, Brett, when are you going to give me a home run? Not picking you. I'm going to go Diaz.
Yandy Diaz.
Break out of the little bit of the slump he's in. Give me a homer.
All right. But yeah, I think that's all we got.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, that's all we got.
I got what I need to get off my chest. We're good.
Rays exclusive episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Comment an emoji that was your reaction to the Jose Siri catch. Because I was in a public gym, mind you, watching the game on my phone, and I gasped. When he made that catch, I gasped out loud. Like, I was a little embarrassed by what I did.
I've been having bad instincts for those kind of catches lately. So every time I think somebody got it, I'll have that kind of reaction. I'm like, then they're like, oh, I didn't get it. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not being fooled.
So
by
yours
this
was
one,
so yours is the hands up.
Yeah.
Mine is the.
Yeah.
Okay, so comment your emoji reaction to the Jose Siri catch against Oakland that saved the game. Subscribe, like the video on YouTube or on Spotify. Hit the 5 stars. Hit the follow button. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And thank you guys for watching and listening. And have your guys a blessed and wonderful night.